Hello and welcome everyone. So today we will talk about real world asset tokenization. We've already seen in the last couple of years how real world asset tokenization has taken the world by storm. Real estate properties, physical assets, even intangible assets are getting tokenized and fractionalized. So today we will talk about an industry which has been untouched so far from the real estate or the real world asset tokenization. And we talk about the maritime industry. The maritime industry is a massive industry. And in this panel discussion today, we have three experts from the maritime industry taking you into a deep dive about what the maritime industry is all about and what are the challenges of blockchainizing or tokenizing the maritime industry. We've got Vikas Pandey, who is a captain. We've got Nixon, who's a maritime lawyer, and we have Prasanna Lohar, who's a blockchain strategist. And I'm Varun, I'm the founder of Blockchain Lawyer. Let's quickly have a quick introduction, guys. Vikas, if you can start off first.
Yeah, thank you, Varun. Thank you for hosting this excellent webinar, which is going to be packed up with a lot of knowledge session for the people who are joining here. I'm Captain Vikas Pandey. As Varun said, I was the master mariner on ships and started my entrepreneurial journey in 2010 and then ventured out into a lot of startups, got exit from few. And in 2018, I was exposed to this amazing technology called blockchain. And that was the time being from the maritime side and was a sailor and always dreamt to be the ship owner in one day. I thought that being having so much of technology interest in this, so what I thought is that why not decentralize the maritime industry, and as this industry is very much owned by the ultra high net worth individuals and being a $1.2 trillion industry, it is massive. So we came up with this thought with my other co-founders to start a fractional ownership platform using blockchain technology. 2018 was very new. This concept was very much less known to people, and regulatory wise also it was challenging to do a lot of stuff. And so we ventured out into Shipfinex, and from 2022 onwards, the whole team is working very hard. So here I am. I'm one of the founders of Shipfinex and heading the company as the CEO, and would like to see the world's biggest ship owner club to be in line with our vision, creation of the wealth which is more decentralized in the shipping industry as well.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Vikas. Nixon, over to you. You've been a maritime lawyer all this while, big name in the industry, lots of respect for the work that you've done. Quickly brief our audience about who you are and what is the work that you've performed so far.
Thank you, Varun, and thank you, Vikas. I'm Nixon. Actually, I'm the director of our legal team consultancy. I started my career in UAE in 2006. I was part of a DP World group, and almost 14 and a half years I worked with the group in multiple industries, including shipping, maritime, logistics. Overall, the industry, it is spread over many sectors. So basically, from royal vessels to tankers and all other variety of vessels I handle, and then I moved to Aramco subsidiary, which is going to be one of the biggest in the world, biggest shipyard in the world. So after 1 year in Saudi Arabia, I moved back to UAE again, and I worked with a certain consultancy. Later, I formed my own consultancy. For last few years, I am into the market, and I am giving a lot of advices to the industry leaders.
Brilliant. That was amazing. Audience, so you already have two very elite panelists with loads of knowledge and information about the industry. We now move on to a blockchain strategist. Prasanna, over to you. Can you explain quickly who you are and where you come from?
Yeah, hi Varun, and good to have Vikas and Nixon out here. So I am a technologist having good areas of experience into banking and finance. I have dealt with those areas where we have built the internet and various use cases on top of internet. After serving bank almost for 10 plus years, and after serving the software industry almost for 8, 9 plus years, recently I got into another role, India Blockchain Forum, which is a non-profit company where we help government, some of the state governments, regulator to how to adopt blockchain for various use cases at a larger level with a standardized way, with a structured way, how to select various platforms and all. So today, where I sit is like running Indian Blockchain Forum, mentoring more than 40 plus blockchain companies at various capacities and growth. Where in a banking per se, I have implemented in DCB Bank and working for some more banks in Indian context to build a more of automated way to the next level of same operations what we did in the last several years, and how blockchain can really help. So at this stage, we're working closely with DCB Bank, Union Bank of India, some more logos for a larger adoption. Work closely with some of the state governments, Maharashtra, Telangana, Kerala. Mentored at more than 500 plus sessions in the last 4, 5 years, part of a national strategy of India, and working closely with other some of the countries like Sri Lanka, Nepal, or some of the South Asian countries to build their blockchain forums. So largely, I'm living life for a blockchain, and for sure, the way this particular use case today we are discussing, which is a leading use case, a path-breaking use case, and happy to be part of this discussion. Thank you so much, Varun and the team, for inviting me here. Yeah.
Brilliant, Prasanna. That was very good. And just to quickly brief about who I am, my name is Varun Sethi. I'm the founder of Blockchain Lawyer, and we help in regulatory frameworks across the world. We are very excited about what maritime industry has to offer, and we are very exciting with this knowledge in this panel. Ask all the questions at the end of this panel. Let's then get deeper into the questions. So, Vikas, the first one coming to you. You mentioned the maritime industry is very relevant, right? For a retail user, how do you consider why is it relevant? Why is it important? As a retail user, why should I bother about the maritime industry?
I think, Varun, this is a very good question. And why I'm not just saying it's a good question, because that is something which people are aware of, and sometimes people are not even aware of. So that's something where the interesting part comes from. If we go to the history of shipping, ships are always owned by the rich people or super rich people, royal people.
Absolutely.
Even if you see in any kind of movies, whether it is Bollywood, Hollywood, or any movies, ships owners are always shown as super rich people. They are one of the wealthiest in the world and all that, right? So and just going on to the other side of it, if you have read a book called Rich Dad and Poor Dad, I think one of the
Yes.
bestseller books in the world. Until today, people love to read that book because it actually talks about the positive cash flow, and it talks about that put your head mouth where the head is, right? So you actually have to put everything in the right place, and assets are very important when you generate wealth or when you make wealth, and when people earn money, they have to invest into the right place. So right, wrong, industry goes up and down everywhere in the world. People make money, people lose money. But when you read this book, Rich Dad and Poor Dad, it says that you have to buy the assets which generate income for you. This is a very
Absolutely.
important stuff. So we have to invest into the assets which can generate income for you. It is not based on some speculations. It is not based on something, on the air. So if you talk about ships, ships are inevitable for the global economy. You cannot avoid ships. 90% of the global trade is done via ships. The whole world
Wow.
of the whole world of globalization is because the shipping industry exists. If there is no ships,
That
there is
is
no global
incredible
economy.
knowledge. Many of the
That
retail
is
users may not even be aware that 90% of logistics trade happens through ships. I think there's a wrong notion. People think that, oh, it's the airplanes, the road transport. No,
no.
this is real. This is the shipping industry.
And the interesting part is if you see Europe, which is wholly connected via roads, but within the Europe, 80% of the European trade is also done via ships. in the
Wow, that is
Mediterranean.
incredible knowledge for the retail users. Brilliant.
Right. Yeah. Because you cannot carry heavy equipments or in large quantities on a car or on a truck or even an aeroplane. It's very expensive. The ships becomes one of the cheapest modes. So what? Okay, let's come to the point. So what happens is that investing into the ships, because it is very expensive, it was not possible. Only 15% companies or 15% of the ships are owned by the public companies. 85% of the ships globally, approximately, are owned by the private companies and the private ship owners.
Oh,
So investment into this asset class was not possible. And thanks to the blockchain technology, actually, which I see as blockchain is one of the very very important technology after internet which has come to the world and which has been discovered by some intelligent people where so the wealth or the money is going to be transformed by this technology. So the asset class can be easily any asset class. So when we were reading about it, we realized that shipping industry is very much concentrated. I'll say it is owned by very less people around the globe. So in this asset class, you cannot participate as because of the ticket size. So now we thought of creation a platform or creating a platform in which people can participate and own the maritime assets in form of tokens which are backed by the real assets. So these are the tokens which are backed by the real assets, and the income which will be generated by ships when be shared transparently and securely with the people who are buying these tokens. So in a simple term, a ship owner who has a ship of 15 or 20 million dollars, he can tokenize the asset on our platform, and after tokenizing, he can offer the partial ownership to the people and share the income with them. In this way, ship owner gets the benefit by liquidating the asset, because the liquidating the asset becomes a problem for them as well. If they have
absolutely.
so basically for them, the platform is very good for liquidating their asset, raising the funds for OPEX, raising the funds for buying another ship or buying another asset, and
Exactly. It's always been an elite industry.
share that.
Maritime has always been an elite industry. Entry barriers have always been high. So I think, and as you mentioned, it's all about centralized. The industry currently is centralized, right? So blockchain technology might transform that thing. Okay, so moving on to Nixon. Now, Nixon, your wealth of experience in the maritime space. Now, this question is for you. Now, when I talk about real world asset tokenizations, the biggest example that is generally given are real estate, which is fixed, right? Now, ships are moving. Now, how do you ensure, from a legal perspective, as a maritime lawyer, that moving assets are now being tokenized or fractionalized? So, how do you ensure that transparency in the entire operation? So, what's your take?
Okay. As you clearly mentioned, it is a moving asset. And once we are looking into a moving asset, there is very much important to see how their operations are done and how you identified the vessel and all those things. So when it comes to the identification, each vessel holds a number, which is a unique number, which is IMO number. So you can track the vessel by just placing the IMO number into a website or even Google. You just put the number into there, then you can see multiple websites. It shows where they operate and what are the operations are going on, where they the last part of entry. All these things will be very much detailed in this.
So
And
it's transparent.
apart,
So what you're saying
very
here is that
transparent.
things are transparent, and an IOO number is very similar to a corporate identification number which a company has. So every vessel has that number. Brilliant. That's very insightful information, audiences. This is real knowledge. Yes, go on,
Okay.
please.
In addition to the, of course, the registry will be keeping a record of the each, okay, just like our vehicles where we register the vehicles in a registration center, each vessel
Absolutely.
will be having a registration place, which always choose, of course, because we'll be able to add a little bit more on that aspect. They will be selecting a flag based on the trade and the convenience, and many aspects are considered before registering the vessel, whether need to register in Malta or Liberia or Marshall Island, any different places. So depending on the characteristics identified, they will be selecting the right place for registration. And of course, the vessel will be owned by the parties, which will be also shown in the registry. Apart from the physical tracking, even operational level, there are a lot of things can be done, or still it is industry practice. They have to make sure that certain records, just like CSR, continuous synopsis record. Of course, again, Captain
Technical
Vikas is
terms,
there.
lots of technical terms for retailers to
Captain
know.
Vikas is there, who will be able to clearly explain more related to CSR and AIS, automatic identification system, even physically monitor where the vessel it is. And if they have done anything, that is also recorded a couple of hours, that equipment is switched off. Then questions are asked from every place why this is switched off. And for that, the master is accountable and he have to disclose. And for each and everything, they have to keep a log. That is a mandatory thing. So that means
Exactly, a log, a physical
open.
log that is there.
Yeah, lot of transparency is there. And of course, as it is a industry evolved years, hundreds of years, this is something which is
Oldest
yeah,
industry.
yeah, I'm saying, yeah. So it is very transparent industry, and the tracking and even every actions, you see something very visible. It is mainly because of the insurance and various aspects involved. The vessel should be kept in a position easily can track, and transparent transaction shall be there.
Brilliant. That was lots of real gold mine knowledge from the maritime lawyer. Brilliant. Amazing. I think this is what the retail users want. They want to deep dive into your industry, understand how it works. So while it is still a moving asset, it is still tracked, it's documented, it's organized, and it is a regulated industry. As a retail user, when you're entering into a new virgin industry, what you want is that do regulations exist or is it unorganized? What I feel from the outside is that this industry is surely organized, but it is working within a certain realm. Now, what decentralization does, or fractionalization, tokenizing these assets would do, is that it would burst open this industry to retail users. And this question, then, Prasanna, is to you. As a leading blockchain strategist, why do you think that blockchain is the real technology for the maritime industry to be revolutionized? Why blockchain for maritime?
Yeah, I think a wonderful question. It talks about fundamentals, right? Now, when you talk about let us implement the same use case back in 95 or back in 80s, we start struggling ki how can we really create that foundational trust altogether. The way we have seen rise of internet, typically we talk about Web 1.0, 2.0, and maybe Web 3.0, so on. Whatever the use cases which we have built as a part of a Web 2.0 or Internet 2.0, and most of our traditional brick and mortar business model, if you see, it has transformed with the help of internet, so-called backed by web applications or mobile applications. And typically, while we have seen some of these Foxro-based standalone systems in on a one desktop, evolved on a network-based systems, and it has evolved the way technology was available. For example, mobility is available, 2G, 3G is available. Now, where we have reached to a era where we have seen rise of a web economy, various business models, and look at if you look at the financial ecosystem, apart from today proper insurance or a loan, we have micro loans, we have a buy now pay later, we have a micro insurance, we have many other formats of the same financial instruments because of the web economy, also called e-commerce and many other areas. So over a period of why it has happened because of penetration of internet, having the access to the data. And if you talk about Indian context, post 2016, we have reached to the 3G to 4G. Now we are talking the noise of a 5G. Now, while we talk about these use cases, your world is moving from a traditional to digital to the intelligent to the autonomous world. And as far as this world is concerned, your customer behavior is changing. So customer behavior was like, let me go and buy a flat or let me go invest into land, right? Now the customer behavior is going to micro markets, is getting into micro investments, right? So while we talk about these things, we always need how can we really trust that whole ecosystem, which is a centralized ecosystem, the one which we have seen last 20 plus years. And they want to see how can they create that trust into those marketplaces. So every business model today I see the way we have created on web and mobile slowly go on to marketplaces. Say it is a real estate or buying a loan or buying a car or any of those things. So slowly, today we might see 7 8 entities on marketplaces. Over a period of time, study says that I think 300 plus entities will come on marketplace. And while doing these transactions among all the actors, right, we need an inherent mechanism which will really help and create a foundational trust. There goes blockchain and says that let me build your same internet world with a inherent trust. You don't have to really worry about that trust between two actors or two subsystems or two human beings. All the operations which we have done on a next level, I will build on. So automatically we build. I think traditional world voting system. We talk about DAOs, or you talk about DeFi, or you talk about tokenization, and that to real world asset tokenization. And blockchain gives that inherent trust which was not existing. While we may say, is it really mature? Yeah, technologies always get mature, right? We have seen 1G, 2G, 3G. We have seen how web has become a intelligent metaverse or immersive interface. Similarly, while there are a lot of platforms like Ethereum or many others, layer one, they will always build on layer two, which will be more prominent, more cost saving, more performing, and that's how we'll grow. So I think something or somewhere we need to start where blockchain is a concept or actually real technology gives a foundational angle to that trust with various other sub things like smart contracts or when you talk about consensus mechanism. So everything is evolving. While I can say this is a wonderful use case where it will give a end user or end users to with a lot of trust they can invest into this. And with the better regulation, it will take it to the next orbit and next level. So I think after 3 years,
Absolutely.
4 years, we'll not talk about blockchain. What we'll talk about how to nurture this current use case. How do we incentivize end user more? How do we structure it more with more better guideline? So good to see that how Maritime comes and gives an opportunity to that what this is a leading use case. And I think such use case will make that dream of tokenization will happen. And in my personal view, everything will be tokenized. What we see around, if you go back in 95 and I will see everything is on web, right? Your
That's
meetings
a
are on
really
web,
shame when you
your,
say that
your buying
everything.
selling food on web. So I think over a period of time, everything will be tokenized. The matter comes, how do we bring on that interoperability of tokens? How do you bring the trust from one marketplace to another? So that is all will be driven by one blockchain to another blockchain. So I think just
Correct.
digging
I
on
think,
for that.
again, from this
Yeah.
perspective, one of the biggest criticisms that we see of the blockchain industry is that you've got tokens floating all around, and those tokens do not have utility or an underlying asset. I think this is where maritime industry is different. You've got a maritime asset like a ship, which is the underlying asset, and a token, which is a layer two on above with an asset underlying, with a valuation being done from a third party as well. So I was reading that real world asset tokenization by 2030 is expected to be a $10 trillion industry. That's massive number. $10 trillion real world asset tokenization industry. And I was told by Vikas, now this question is to you. You got some preliminary interest from retail users to be part of your ecosystem. What's the experience been like? Do run us through that.
Yeah, so this very interesting. What we did is like while we were structuring legally how exactly this can be done. So last month, what we did is we opened our pre-registration because as we are very close to our launch date, and we will be launching in next 3 to 4 weeks. We have very recently partnered with TMC Shipping, who there's those who own 13 ships, and one of the ships will be tokenized in next to 3 4 weeks period of time. What we realized that let's open up and start the pre-registration for the people who are interested to participate in this kind of platform. Do we have the significant interest or not? And within our core team, we decided to open our pre-registration campaign. And we were really amazed. Initially, we thought that we will close the pre-registration once we reach 2,000 numbers, because as soon as we reach 2,000 numbers, we will have a significant understanding to analyze the data by these 2,000 people. And this 2,000 numbers we
What's
finished
the
in
number today, if I may
10
ask?
days. We
What's the
finished
number?
in 10 days. And then we thought of let's keep it open. Why not keep it more open? Because in 1 month, our target was 2,000. So now we are sitting on 12,500 pre-registrations already in.
12,500? That's
Yes.
brilliant.
Yes, we already, and
Is
we
it
have.
still open?
It's surely an industry that requires more education. Are you doing something on the educational front as well? Because as Nixon pointed out, the initial entry barrier, other than, of course, a high ticket, is also the education. So are you doing something on those lines as well?
Yes. This is, see, I've always treated this platform as, if I am a maritime professional, I am a master mariner. If I get this kind of opportunity, what will I do? So similarly, my thought process is, when I'm offering this to my people who are going to be the member of this club of Shipfinex, which will be the largest ship owning club in a very short span of time. So I always thought that, what should we do? How should we educate people? So for in that sense, what we did is, we have already spoken with one of the most prestigious institutes in the world. We are already in talks with them and almost on the final structure of the system, where as soon as a person who becomes the member of the club, he has to complete a 2 hours of pre-recorded session, which will have 8 modules. So we will not allow anyone to actually participate in the fractional ownership unless they have completed that 2 hours of session. And that
Oh,
two
brilliant.
hours of session.
So people thought that the entry barrier is money. The entry barrier now is knowledge and education.
Training
That's,
session.
Exactly.
that's
So see, it is the responsibility of co-founders and founders and as the management. So we have done two level of sensible approach towards this. The first level of sensible approach is to educate each and everyone, whoever is interested to participate in this kind of asset class. So they will undergo 8 modules, which will cover all aspects of shipping, when the market went down, what happened, what type of ships are there, how you generate income, what are the risks involved, what are the insurance policies here, how to track the vessel, what kind of APIs Shipfinex will have so that they can have all the information, how to read the reports. Everything will be covered in this 2 hours of session, including what is tokenization. How do they feel that, okay, this is the wallet and in this my tokens are there, what does it mean? All these things will be educated to them within that, in that course, and that will come free of cost. So as soon as they become the member, they join the membership, and they will get that certificate of participation from that institute as well. So it is conducted by one of the most prestigious and the oldest institute, which we will reveal the name very soon. And you will get that certification. Apart from that, Varun, what we have also done, we have created a Marine Finance Supervisory Committee. And this Marine Finance Supervisory Committee is a committee which is working independently, and their responsibility will be, whichever asset which ship owner wants to fractionalize through Shipfinex platform. This Marine Finance Supervisory Committee will have the members, and we have already nominated the members, and prestigious members, one from IMO director, one from the legal side of it, one from the class and classification society and flag side of it, the technical experts who are the experts in the technical side of it, of engine.
That's an independent committee.
That's an independent committee, and their responsibility is to do the rating of the asset which we are tokenizing with all the aspects. So in this manner, they will rate it. Once they rate it, we will publish the report on our platform very openly, and we will have a specific number. Below that number, we will not tokenize the asset on our platform. So first, it has to undergo.
That's a rating mechanism. Below a certain rating,
exactly.
There's no listing of the
rating, we
ships.
are not going to list the asset on our platform, and this committee will give the ratings so that people have the complete transparency of the report, the real images of the report, the real videos of the report, and everything will be transparently opened up. And just for your information, Varun, one thing, because I was the captain, I used to sail on board, 10 to 12 years I have been on board. I was the inspector as well. I used to inspect ships. I have done various pre-purchase inspections on behalf of the ship owners. So shipping is something which is very transparent for the people who know where to find out what. So for you, if you don't know,
Uh,
then obviously you cannot go and find out. But if you are aware of, that is why Shipfinex platform is there. Shipfinex platform, being founded by the mariners, being founded by the ship owners, we know that from where we can give the information to our club members so that they can transparently open up. We have already connected the APIs with all these different websites, which will give them the transparent information. For example, a ship goes to a port. A ship goes to a port, it is subject to the port state inspection. So even the port state
Absolutely.
inspection reports, flag state inspection reports, and all these things will be transparently opened up. And it will also give a leverage to the ship owner to perform in a better manner, because he knows that his vessel is being owned by the various number of people, and it is his responsibility, and on good faith he has to work, and which can be audited. We have already one of the very large firms which we are talking with for the auditing purposes as well. The ship will always be insured. It has to have the right insurance, which will be vetted by the insurance people, insurance experts from the maritime. So this is how we are keeping the things intact, while the pre-registrations which we found were astounding. And we expect that as soon as we launch, I think we will have a significant interest from the people
Brilliant.
to join this industry in this asset class.
That was good deep down into what Shipfinex is doing. Nixon, this one's coming for you. You've already mentioned that there is an entry barrier, primarily from a knowledge perspective, access perspective, money perspective, entering into this thing. Now that retail users, people with $1,000 in the bank, would be now becoming part of this industry. So what impact do you think this will bring to the entire maritime ecosystem? You've seen ships and their maritime industry evolve over a period of time. Do you think that fractionalization will open up, or it will make things more complex? What do you think will be the impact of tokenization and fractionalization on the maritime industry?
See, of course, this type of initiatives, it will make a lot of avenues for the retail users to participate in the overall benefits. And of course, as in the very beginning, as Vikas mentioned, in the specific bestseller, Rich Dad Poor Dad, in that the peoples will be getting opportunity for creating revenue from the assets which is always in requirement. Basically 90% of the logistics is done through the vessels, of course. So that makes a lot of avenues to create revenue. At the same time, you can see the change is also happening. Before, the vessel size was limited. Now the vessel size also, it is made in a way a lot of transactions can be done in a single voyage. So he can see contribution from this type of retailer ownership. It will make the industry a big shock, and of course it is going to make a massive benefit to lot of the retail investors. That is the view from my side.
Exactly. For the retailers as well, perhaps it might open avenues for the ship owners as well. It
Of
provides more
course,
liquidity to them.
yeah,
Right.
it's true.
Brilliant. So it might create a win-win situation. Okay, so this one's coming for Prasanna. Prasanna, maritime industry, traditional industry, yet very documented. Blockchain, a new kid in the block. So from that perspective, what do you see from a regulatory perspective? Do you think that from a regulatory perspective, the governments are willing to accept this kind of business model?
Yeah, I think wonderful question, but answer lies into your question itself. Yes, they will have to accept, and that is how it will be a structured approach to bring on the real world asset tokenization. And it's a welcome move. Maybe we may always feel governments or regulators are not still ready. Certainly, they are not ready, but they are working on it. Example, in Indian context, IFSC, which is one of the unilateral regulator, which represents other four regulators like the RBI, RDA, SEBI, and the SASA. They are looking forward. They have created these committees of real-world asset tokenization, how it can be really done in interest of a customer, dispute management, which technology to be chosen, which platform to be done. So all those aspects they are considering and really bringing all that kind of a paper in front of the world. At India Blockchain Forum, where you are also contributing along with the Telangana government, where we have seen how at a state like Telangana is coming up with a real world asset tokenization framework, which will really help for some of those use cases. So coming back, I think the way maritime industry works, or any other in the traditional industry we have seen, where there are more than two stakeholders, or where we need to automate some of those operation processes. I think what we have seen this kind of industry where the movement of transaction from one terminal to another terminal, or multiple stakeholders, lot of paperwork, lot of operational work. The phenomena or terminal like smart contract comes, and which is like code inside the blockchain, where we'll write whatever all those operational aspects, and that will be executed without intermediaries in between. While on a technology side it looks good, but how to justify the overall framework? That is what where we need regulations and say how this
Absolutely.
particular industry will adopt. So I think certainly it is a matter of time. There are many countries they have come up with their own asset tokenization framework. We have seen Hong Kong or Singapore and many other countries have done it. And I think whenever India will come, that will be the one of the best regulation on asset tokenization. As you rightly said, Maritime, the one which we are building as Shipfinex is backed by utility. And it's not something like we are building and pushing it to the customer, but it is going with a step-by-step approach with awareness, trainings, learnings, and then actual adoption. I think what I can see, the way Shipfinex is building, it is self-regulated, and I think this can become a very good example for the regulators how to adopt any of those real-world asset tokenization. That's what I can see that. I think certainly
Absolutely.
we look forward how we can push this towards some of those known regulators in India and make a make
Absolutely.
a case study for all of them. Yeah.
Okay, a little input from my side as well, being the founder of Blockchain Lawyer. From a legal perspective, I feel that yes, regulations are being sort of developed across the world, and we need use cases like these to at least discuss the things with the regulatory framework creators. And we are here in Dubai, where the regulators are far more transparent. They're willing to understand, talk, discuss. And with the conferences happening, we were able to directly discuss these use cases with the regulators directly. So it also opens up more avenues. And shipping being a global phenomenon, it's not just restricted to any specific jurisdiction. It also opens up more avenues for people across the world to actually participate. And blockchain and tokens on top of it also makes things more globally acceptable. So you can have, let's say, a certain fractional ownership in a ship in which is registered, let's say, in Marshall Islands, and you might be somewhere else in the world. So it opens up lots of avenues for you. Okay, so we are left with the last 20 minutes of this conversation. Lots of questions have come up. So let's take up some questions. Okay, one of the questions that has come up is that, hey guys, what is your experience in ship management? So they want to know, I think this should be directed to Vikas, that are you technology guys or are you shipping guys? So they want to know who is there at the top, who are the co-founders. They just want to know that. So what's your experience?
A very, very relevant and important question. So if you see on our website, we have the founders and co-founders very listed. I myself, I have like 25 years in shipping, which includes ship management, which includes ship inspections. I myself is the certified DNV GL auditor for inspecting and for auditing the ship management activities. So I hold that certification, has in fact as inspected, audited the ship management companies as well. Apart from that, we have in my co-founders, we have Suraj, who is also a sailor, was working with BP, has his own trading desk, has worked with various ship management companies and ship owners. Then we have Mr. Ravi Shankar, who is 25 years of buying and selling of shipping experience. He is one of the most renowned ship broker in the Middle East industry, was working with Maersk traders before, and he was now working with, he is right now being the co-founder. Additionally, he is also playing a role of ship broking in Eastgate Shipping as the founder of the, as the partner in the company. Then we have a ship owner who is Mr. Tony Dagger, who is the chairman of the board. He himself owns 13 ships, and he runs his own ship management companies. So if we talk about the intricacies of this particular activity, which is ship, we in together have more than 100 years of experience in understanding the shipping. We know that where the finer details to be looked on, what should be looked in the books, what should be inspected, what should be audited, so that things are more transparent to the people and the member of this community, and enough is transferred in the terms of knowledge to them, so that things are very clear. And this is what I believe. And additionally, it's not about our experience. We are keeping, we have, as I said, Marine Finance Supervisory Committee. We have kept in the arm's length. Arm's length in the sense this is an independent committee which will have people with more than 200 years of experience in this industry.
200.
Yes,
That's the number. 200.
yeah,
You heard right.
the people who are in together, they will have more than 200 years of experience. The people who were the director of IMO, who used to regulate the international regulatory body. So the people who are being the principal consultant to the classification societies, the people who are expert in maritime law and the legal aspects of it, the people who are from the maritime insurance market, the people who are technical experts, all these people will be looking at the ships which are going to be offered on the platform, and the reports will be published very, very openly. So as I said previously as well. So talking about the experience, I believe the team has the capability, and we have the passion to create this decentralized world where the equitable interest of the maritime professionals should be increased significantly. It should not be that maritime professionals are only working for salary here. They have no interest, no equitable interest here. So how will we increase this equitable interest? Why in every peak cycle ship owners become rich and rich and richer? Why not it is being given to the open society where the people can also take the pie of it? So by investing into this asset class.
I hope this answered your question. So it's the marine guys who are actually going towards blockchain rather than the other way around, the blockchain guys going for the marine industry. That's a good answer. Okay, let's take up some tough questions as well. There was a very interesting question. And this one's for you, Nixon. This is a hard one, so be ready for that. They are calling ships are speculative assets. So they're calling ships as speculative assets and with a huge residual value. So does that make sense? Do you think that this even makes sense to decentralize and fractionalize it? What's your take on that? Speculative assets with very huge residual value. So is it even worth doing it?
See, it's worth doing because, of course, the participation of the more peoples, it will be giving value to the peoples who are investing, and at the same time, see the fractional ownership. I will be placing this in three points. Basically, it will be giving a little bit interesting aspect related with the ownership, and at the same time with the financial security. I can say ownership interest, financial interest, and maybe little bit on the liability aspect also. Because when the peoples are taking the ownership, they will be having interest to know my ownership is safely protected.
Absolutely.
Or
There's a
it is
question on liability as well, if I may just tag that question. What about the liabilities which accrue to a person who goes forward and invests?
okay, of course. For that purpose, that is the reason I placed in a three form. It is ownership interest, then financial interest, which is the revenue part, and the liability aspect. So when you are getting into the ownership part, it can be well documented in a way it will be registered as I mentioned an example. When your vehicle is registered in some place, you are registering same way the vessel is registered with a flag or registry. So the ownership is already mentioned there, and the ownership will be kept by a company. Or okay, of course, when it comes to the fractionalized ownership, it will be kept by a company which is owned by the fractional the owners. So this data will be recorded in a registry. After registering the records there, you can't register the same vessel in any other place. So
So no
basically,
double selling, no double selling.
no, you can't take this to any other place and register in another name, because unique number, and at the same time, there will be requirements for each registry. If you have to register in another place, you have to bring a deletion of registry to the next place and should be attested and clearly given the evidence that is deleted from there. Then you can move, and that it cannot be done without the consent of the owners. So basically, once you are holding the ownership of the company, then there is no way the people can sell the vessel to any third party without the consent of the fractional owners. Then coming back to the financial interest, when the vessel is invested by different peoples, you can secure your interest by taking a mortgage and taking some financial securities, parent company guarantee, and even assignment of insurances and all those things. So basically, no way the person can be run away from the responsibility. The owner can't run away from this responsibility to pay back to the owners. So there is a mechanism, and this is
This is
well
gold dust,
practiced.
guys. Just stopping here. This is gold dust for a retail user. This is gold dust. This is brilliant knowledge coming right from the horse's mouth.
Okay. One more thing I just want to add, because see, when I am investing, my ownership is secured, my financial interest is secured. I'm worried about my liabilities because I am also owner. So when it comes to that aspect, then the important role is played by the insurance. So you will be protecting your own assets. For that purpose, you have a hull and machinery insurance. It will cover all the vessel, physical vessel, and all the equipments inside the vessel. All those things will be covered under the hull and machinery insurance. Then the next thing, when you are getting your car to the main road, you have to keep a general third party liability insurance. The same way, in
Absolutely.
maritime industry, they have to keep a protection and indemnity insurance, which will address all third party liabilities, including the employees. If there is any, say, pollution or wreck or whatever it is, this will be covered under the protection and indemnity insurance. And of course, this is maintained by well reputed clubs, and their guarantees for any sort of claims, it is much value than banks, because they hold that much value in the industry. So liabilities aspect, on from the vessel aspect, you will be getting hull and machinery insurance. And then from the liability aspect, third party liability aspect, you have protection and indemnity. Without this insurance, you can't do the operations in any jurisdictions. So
Oh,
basically, you have to take these insurances in place. And apart from that, okay, now it is not that much which is reported as a regular matter, piracy and ransom and all those things. For that also, if you are going to an area where the pirates or some issues are there, then there is a additional cover comes. So when you are bringing a the transit is happening through this pirated area, you have to take an additional cover for that. And of course, for the cargo, there will be another type of insurance, and that is
it's already a
not
regulated market. It's
so.
something new. So blockchain is just creating a technology layer on top of an already regulated, organized market. Is that right?
Exactly, you said it. You said it. So this is well regulated, and it is practiced in the market for quite long, and it is very transparent.
Very transparent. That is what blockchain brings in. Okay, this a good question from Kaushik saying that the token that you will offer, is it connected to a specific flag or a country? I think the token would be a governance token which is spread across the platform. So because this is for you, I don't think so that the token is connected to a specific ship. Can you just clarify that point?
Okay, so interesting question because I didn't expect this kind of question. So, okay, so what we are doing is simply what the vessel is basically represents a company. So, company owns the asset, and that is a private company.
Yes, that there's a question regarding this as well.
Yeah, so I will
Do
maybe.
we really get the ship? It's the ship which is owned by an SPV, and then you get your stake
Exactly.
in the
Yeah.
SPV.
So this SPV, which is a special purpose vehicle company, which owns the asset, this particular company is tokenized on the blockchain platform. And once we tokenize this in the blockchain platform, we have a specific formula which is linked to the gross registered tonnage of the ship, because GRT of the ship is never changed. The day it is formed, GRT never changes. So every ship will have a specific number of tokens which will be linked to the GRT of the ship till the ship goes to the graveyard, till the time it dies, right? And this number of tokens will be offered on the platform, which is linked to the valuation, because token has to have a value. How are we doing it? So all this valuation of the asset is being done by vessel value, which is a third party, which is the world's number one and most trusted platform for the valuation of the assets,
And you've got a common
vesselvalue.com.
agreement. And you've got a common agreement in place.
Yes. So we have already connected their APIs in the real time. Every day, people will be able to see the value of the asset on their mobile app. That what is the value of the asset? How is it going up? How is it going down? And
This is more like a portfolio. As a retail user, I've invested in certain chips. I can see my portfolio move up and down.
yeah.
It's
So every ship has specific number of tokens. These tokens, every token has a value which is linked with the value of the asset. So it means if you invest or if you buy, practically if you buy the number of tokens, this number of tokens you hold will go in the value up or down according to the market which is driving it. And it is no one driving it. It is being driven by the various parameters, which is like a global market. For example, a ship which was worth $15 million in 2019 became $35 million just because the global trade increased, the demand of the ship increased. When the demand of the ship increases, the earnings increases. When the demand of ship decreases, the value decreases. It is always on the demand and supply curve. So we have to understand, as I said, shipping is a 90% global trade. So always the supply of the vessel comes and then it reduces. It's a very cyclical market. So you have to really, once you start knowing about it, you will understand that what is the right time to buy. If you buy this, what am I in a long term? Shipping always gives you a specific amount of good returns, which is treated as good benchmark in the global market. I would not like to say anything. It can be ranging between 10 to 50% IRR. It can be anything. It can be 12, it can be 20, it can be 30, depending on the asset, right? So these people who are holding the tokens, they are holding the tokens of SPV for earning. So they are now allowed to earn through these tokens, because whenever the ship makes money, they will be able to withdraw that quarterly, 6 monthly, or annually. When the vessel is being listed on our platform, the ship owner promises and signs the agreement, signs the whole legal papers, that what he is offering to the club members of Shipfinex.
Brilliant. So there was another little question which is scrolled up. So Prasanna, this one's for you. As a retail user, why do you think education is important? And these guys are creating a club. Why is it relevant?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. And everything, whenever it comes to any service to the end user, if you talk about traditional banking also, like there are many things, right? Example, how to generate a password or OTP, whether to share it or not to share, how to utilize the overall business model. While it is a traditional model and we may not have to teach, but there are some certain set of users where they have these queries. So what Shipfinex is bringing a first time right approach, which is that let us bring on the customers onto the platform as well as let them get certified. Yeah, this is how we have to use, so that many of those queries which will come tomorrow or maybe after some time, those will be solved at a first time right. So that it becomes a very good structure to really bring on the customers onto this new way.
Also, other blockchain companies, Binance runs an academy, Ledger runs an academy. They have those education initiatives running as well, right?
I'm not sure, but I think this is a unique approach. It's something like coming up with a new business model, but it's not something. That's what I was telling you in the initial remark. It comes with awareness. I think maybe
Awareness.
without awareness, just imagine there will be thousands of queries we'll have to set up a very good set of operational team, contact center team, because the human touch is very, very important. That human touch starts from the beginning itself, at a ship feeling. That's what I appreciate. And I think any regulator will always come with some common sense. How do we really safeguard the end users and customers? That is how I look at education and awareness is the very first step for any of those business models. I think that's what I said. This is a very good template model for regulators to follow and learn from this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we are almost running out of time here. Thank you so much, panelists. You've been wonderful in sharing your technical insights. And thank you so much, the audience, for asking such amazing questions. Again, we are in Dubai. Dubai being one of the most transparent governments, they are willing to adopt, understand. They have also come up with licenses for even marketplaces. So what Shipfinex, from your conversation, it seems is that they are creating a certain marketplace and they're connecting APIs with already existing regulated authorities. So as a retail user, you get the entire dashboard. You're able to transparently see how the money is moving. And it then opens up a very traditional, yet a very regulated, yet a very exciting industry for retail users, which was currently only limited to the elite of the world. Any final thoughts, Vikas, about Shipfinex future plans? Over to you.
Yes, thank you, Varun, for hosting such a good panel. And I believe people would have clarified their thoughts and anxieties, what they were having in some period of time. So just for few information that we will be going live on our platform in 3 to 4 weeks period of time. On the regulation aspect, we are just waiting for our license from Poland. So we will be regulated by European Union license, and we are looking forward for their in-force regulation of asset reference tokens in March 2024. So we are going to be licensed under our virtual asset service provider license through Poland. We are already having a DLT, distributed ledger technology license, to build up this platform from Dubai, and we are applying it for the NOC of that as well, which is also in the process. Additionally, we have the club which will be sitting in Wyoming, which is the world's first and the only place where they have adopted 13 blockchain laws. And a decentralized autonomous organization can run through that. So the club will be sitting in US, so nobody can, we want to be in the most regulated area. We don't want to run away from it.
Right? Exactly. So the DAO structure in Wyoming, one of the most flexible structures in the world.
This is also
it is most regulated. Yeah. So from that perspective, you're in the top-notch jurisdictions of the world.
Yeah. So we want to be in the top-notch regulation places, and especially because shipping is a very regulated place. So what we are doing is, in next 3 to 4 weeks period of time, our membership will open for the club, and then everyone in the world will or can join this membership, and we will disclose the name of the asset, all details of the asset, once you become the member, and it will be on the platform for the tokenization. So you can see down the line 3 to 4 weeks, we have numbers of assets which are in pipeline with us. Lots and lots of ship owners. There are some big ship owners, there are some small ship owners, those who are talking to us. We want to tokenize, but we want to go slow. We do not want to hurry. We are not in hurry, because we know that this is a place, as Shipfinex being the only and the first platform doing this kind of thing in a very different way. Like Prasanna said, the kind of setup we are doing can be a template for the regulator as well, right? It can be a template for the regulator. We want to self-regulate. We don't want to run away from regulatory. We want to, we would like to do this with a positive impact, with a positive intensity. And we owe something to this community, especially the maritime community. There are 4.5 million people who work in this industry directly. There are people who are sailing, there are people not sailing, but we owe this back to the community. We would like them to actively participate in this industry and be the ship owner, invest into this asset class with all your open eyes, ear, and everything. And we will give you all the information.
And the data insights on your platform.
We will give you all information. And then after that, the choice is yours.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you for taking our time. This has been a very enriching, knowledgeable session. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Vikas. Thank you, Nixon. Thank you, Prasanna. Thank you, audience.
Thank you, guys, and watch us for the next week. We will be hosting a panel with the technology experts, where your technology doubts will be cleared. Today, we got little bit clarity on the maritime and legal aspect of it. Then we will be hosting on the technology aspect of it, how exactly the wallets are being created, what are the security of the wallets and everything. So this will be in the next week, and we will keep watching out. Like in next 3 to 4 weeks, we'll have very interesting discussions on the panel where ship owners will also come on the platform.
Exactly. So it's not just one-off panel discussion. This is a series that we are starting today, and eventually it should result in people becoming more aware of this ancient yet very interesting industry. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Prasanna. Thank you, Nixon. Thank you, Varun. Again, thank you.